So my name is Vimal, and I'm the solution architect with cloud.in. First of all, thank you very much to all of you whosoever has joined for attending to today's session on the modernizing data platform with Amazon Redshift and the Lake Formation. Before diving to our agenda for today, I would just like to give a caveat that all the attendees are muted by default. So just in case if you have any question, right? We are having a Q&A session at the last of this webinar. So you can have your all the doubts being asked, right? So I'm here to give all the responses to your questions, right? And you can also raise an electronic hand to grab the speaker's attention. All right, so let's start with our today's agenda. So before we dive further into the core technical discussion, I would like to just give a brief introduction about what the cloud.in. All right, so I would just mention a few points in here so that you can also understand that what the cloud.in company is and what are we providing the solution in terms of our cloud offering, our services which we provide around the clock. All right, so basically cloud.in, we are the company in the IT domain from last 26 years, right? So if you look at the presence, so we are present in Mumbai, Pune, and Bangalore, and also we have our headcount in Delaware also. And being a partner, being a managed support provider, we provide 24/7 support along with NOC or NOC SOC support. And since we've experienced for more than 2 decades, so these are our some credential like managing domains. The count is 40,000 plus, and in terms of our resource strength and expertise, so we have 100% certified resources in our company. And talking about the live workload which we are having, so these the counts are 200 plus, and more than 10,000 resources, cloud resources we are managing for our client. Talking about the endpoints, so the count is 8,000 plus, and we are 100 plus team strength for now, and we cater the client on the pan India basis across all verticals. So in a nutshell, it's our journey, which has been for last more than 2 decades. So 1999, we started with the idea of, we were into the digital ads and online portals servicing. And 2015, when the AWS, I mean, the biggest hyperscaler came to India, we got our partnership built with Amazon, Amazon AWS, right? And then the cloud.in, basically this domain we've launched in 2016. So as I told you that we were into the domain, right, and digital ads. So when we ventured into the cloud business, there was a need that some because prior to this cloud.in, we were having that hosting services, right? So it was not connecting to the cloud specific domain. So cloud.in fits quite well, and we bought this domain for our all the cloud offering, right? And from 2018 till today, you can see here that the number of competencies and service deliveries which we have achieved. And just a name of few: generative AI, service competency, migration and modernization, SMB, and Windows workload. And talking about the government vertical, we've the education consulting competency, right? So these are a few credential which you can understand where how cloud.in is being continuously improving itself in terms of all the emerging technologies. And on this slide, so if we talk about our collaboration with a different third-party security or maybe network-related tools, so you can see that we have a security partnership with Fortinet F5 at the checkpoint, and for data protection, Druva and the Commvault are the partner which we have our engagement in terms of providing cyber resilience and the database backup related challenges are there, then these two names are there, right? And New Relic for the observability, monitoring application performance, right? For the better insights. For streaming data, we've got our partnership with Confluent, streaming data in real time for faster insight. Then again, VMware for cloud infrastructure, we have our partnership. And at the bottom, you can see the AWS. So we are the advanced consulting partner with the AWS, right? So you can have an understanding that we are connected with almost every area wherever the client has it's a requirement in terms of like security, NOC, SOC, or maybe backup and DR. Okay, so this slide is basically to showcase the seal of trust which we've got as AWS competency and the service delivery partner program. So generative AI, that's the you can see here that this competency we have recently achieved. And prior to that, migration and modernization, SMB, education workload, Microsoft workload, and public sector well architected partner program, or maybe the solution provider. So these are the badges which we have achieved for the excellence of our cloud deliveries. So basically, when it comes with the offering and what exactly we do or what we provide to our clients, so it is end-to-end like managed services where we implement cloud workload, we provision the resources and we maintain those resources, and we provide migration support, cloud consulting, advisory, reselling, billing, application services. In terms of media services or CDN and as services, we have also we've been providing support to our clients. And if it's concerned with the cloud cost optimization, then again we have like FinOps mechanism in our company, so that we can have a we can just evaluate your workload and we'll provide you the cost optimization solution. In terms of resource augmentation, we also provide like manpower just in case if it is required on site, right? And related to generative AI, ML services, we are the partner who are providing the support in terms of chatbot or agentic AI solutions. And these are the large portfolio of the industry vertical. You can see like almost every industry is covered here: EdTech, startup, NGO, NPO, media, FMCG, pharma, manufacturing, IT, right, and finance, e-com. Talking about the product portfolio, so these are our 4 in-house products. So CloudFront, Version Vault, Evalix.ai, Rudra, Sentinel, and Freedom. So just quickly, just a brief about this, all these 4 products. CloudFront, basically, this is a centralized platform where you can manage all your distribution of your CDN configuration. So it will provide you an ease in terms of like versioning, comparison, and rollback, right? So it's a kind of a DR solution which we created in-house. And then again, Evalix.ai, this is the AI-based smart evaluation assessment tool. You can leverage this tool for better assessment. You can get an insight like how your team is performing, how well they are being trained, right? And what are the learning. So you can generate your own data set in terms of your questionnaire or any SOP document according to your industry, and you can just create a test. You can just generate a test, and your employees can just go through with or apply for those tests, and the insight all the insights you will get with the help of this tool, right? So again, it's better to provide increasing in efficiency of your employees internally. And Rudra Sentinel, again, the SOC tool, right, in terms of security posture management or SIEM, like same security tool. Again, this is a product which we use for our client, right? So idea is to this is a centralized dashboard and centralized platform where you are getting all the logs, matrices, and insight from your application, maybe the other sources, so that you can better take a decision, and you can perform any action according to your requirement. Then again, Freedom is a multi-cloud billing management platform where you can keep a track on cost, right? So that you have a better visibility and control over the billing in terms of like whether it is on premises or any cloud, right? All right, so on the agenda, so basically on a higher level, we are gonna see today in terms of like whatever the challenges are there. When if we all know that today, if we talk about any business, right? Any business is run on the basis of you know informed decision, right? And in this competitive environment, it is the timing is very crucial, right? You need a data, right? And you need some mechanism so that that data can make sense, right? So so there are a lot of tools and AWS services which are basically help getting the value of your data so that you can take better decision. So again, we would see here how you can take a leverage with the help of AWS services in the data warehousing, and how can you perform ETL or no ETL, right? So that you can have a better understanding of your data and you can just take a decision accordingly, right? So we'll just start with our presentation. All right. So I was talking about the challenges, right? So understanding this presentation or maybe whatever slide which we would be covering, we need to understand the challenge first, right? Just take an example. If there is a company which is into a marketing, right? And marketing, why I'm taking the example of marketing, it is because there are a lot of things uh, are there which need to be addressed while we are creating any sort of understanding or we are taking any decision, right? And just take an example for like any company or maybe food beverages, right? Or any soft drink company is there, right? So and there are a number of employees work in that company, and so basically there's a competitive market. There are other brands available, right? And they want to sustain their business. They want to create a monopoly, or they want to stay ahead of their competition, right? So what are the business challenges, right? You just understand the scenario so that you can better understand what we will just going to learn today, right? To ingesting semi-structured and unstructured data. So before we just understand this slide, just understand to take a better decision, they need data, right? They need data, and they want data in a kind of a real time so that they can take a decision, informed decision in a perfect timing. Otherwise, if timing is not better, so maybe the market sentiment may go change, and then again it will not be as impactful as it is required, right? But what is the challenges? Because their IT team, their IT operations, and whatever application, whatever whatever the motions they are driving just to create the awareness, or maybe they are running ads or maybe other sort of marketing events, right? So what are they doing exactly? They are performing some action, and they are generating data, right? The data is getting populated from the multiple sources, but what are the challenges here? So challenge is in ingesting semi-structured and the unstructured data, ingesting and analyzing in the real time. At the same time, they have to manage it cost, decoupling storage and compute, scaling the data platform, managing the infrastructure, data discovery, centralized security, and data silos. So you can just connect your dots, right? Just as I mentioned the example, like there are multiple sources, right? From the companies getting all the data and trying to generate the insights so that they can take decision accordingly, right? So these are the very common challenges which we see, in these scenarios, right? So our discussion, or maybe whatever the services we are going to see here, are basically solving all those challenges, right? So modern data platform. All right. So basically, this particular image which you are seeing is basically, if you look at this circle from the bottom, there's a data migration, right? So on a first step, data is being migrated to where? Decoupled storage and the compute resources, and then cloud data lake infrastructure. So what are we doing actually here? So we are, and data, which is data is being populated, it could be the streaming service, right? A streaming services as in, it could be a real time data, right? Or maybe you can, populate that data with different data sources, right? So basically what we are doing, decoupling storage and compute resources so that we can have the better control, right, and better scalability in terms of data as well as the compute, right? And cloud data lake infrastructure, the layer which you are seeing in between is the idea where data is being collected on a centralized location, right? So we'll see how that helps or that works in terms of all this, right? And once we have the data in the data lake, what are we doing here? So we are managing that data, and we are performing ETL, and we are performing cataloging, right? And and once we've done the cataloging, all the metadata is being stored in the catalog layer, and from there it can be, this data can be used for like any predictive analysis, real-time analytics, operational, maybe serverless data processing, big data processing, or data warehousing. And again, the layer is security and governance that has to be taken care throughout this journey, right? So idea here is there are multiple sources from where the data can be generated, and and again, we need to take that data into the one centralized location, and then we have to perform ETL, where the cleaning or the normalization of data is being happening. And basically, we are making that data usable for any machine learning analysis. Like it could be predictive analysis, or it could be any like dashboarding thing where, so that you can just visualize your data in terms of like charts and pies, and the graphs, right? So that you have a better understanding, you can read your data properly, right? So this is on a high level. This is the complete image which we are going to see in our next slides. All right, so we just saw in our previous slide the data migration, right? So data could be like that, uh, it can be integrated with the help of like direct connect, or you can use a AWS family, like you can have a snowmobile, or maybe DMS or a storage gateway. You can use any AWS database services, storage services, right? So that you can move your data from one place to another place. And the other thing which we've seen, that the data in the real time, right? So we can use our data, streaming data from Kafka. It could be from Kinesis video stream, Kinesis data stream, or data firehose, or maybe it could be from AWS IoT core as well, right? So any sort of data, whether it's a real time or it is not a real time, in both the cases we take a data, and we take data into AWS Lake Formation. Lake Formation is, again, we are under the hood. Amazon S3 is being utilized for creating that Lake Formation, and then there are the different services like Redshift for data warehousing, Amazon QuickSight for smart BI tools, and EMR. So basically, EMR is a it's a AWS service, managed services, where we are creating the EMR clusters. Then query we can perform with the help of Athena, Amazon Kinesis for like real-time data is being populated. Elasticsearch service we can use for observability, and then again AI services on top of that we can use, right? All right, so this slide looks quite heavy. AWS database and the analytics broad and deep portfolio. All right, so just to make this slide easy, we would just uh, go one slide back and just just have a look of this particular thing, that data is being moved from different resources to the cloud formation, and then we are performing the analytic services, right? Now it becomes easier, right? So just to just break this slide into the two three parts. The first, the database ingestion, which we are doing. uh, so it's better if we just start from the bottom, from the data movement, then data lake, and then analytics, blockchain, and the business intelligence, right? So that's a proper way to understand this slide. At the bottom, if you see the data movement, we are using DMS, Snowball, Snowmobile, right? All these services. And there are 30 plus solutions available in the AWS marketplace for that. So data, once data is moved, what are the areas, or what are the services which we can leverage? S3 Glacier. So on top of S3 Glacier, we will have that data lake formation. And once we have data lake, we can use that Amazon Glue as a ETL and data cataloging, right? So what exactly we are doing here? So once your data lake is created, we are using AWS Glue. That is a it is a crawler based like ETL, transport and load service. So what are we doing? We are taking that data from one place to another, and we are just doing the data normalization, data cleaning, and we are making that data to and for in terms of usability for the services which we are going to use further in the pipeline, right? So, and then again, whatever the data which we are dealing with, so all the schema should be converted, right? And the data format should be managed, and again, the metadata has to be stored somewhere so that it can be queried, or it should be available for the users, right? And on top of that, we can see the different databases. Amazon QLDB, the ledger databases, right? And Amazon Elastic Cache, Redis Memcached, Amazon Aurora RDS, Amazon Neptune, that's a Graph DB, then DynamoDB, and whether it's a time series database, then all these databases can be the source for from where the data can be fetched into the data lake, right? And for analytics, of Amazon Redshift, Amazon EMR, Elasticsearch, and Athena Kinesis are the services which we can just perform for the analytics, right? So since the data is in Redshift or Athena, then we can directly integrate our analytics from all these databases. Then again, blockchain, AWS, Amazon managed blockchain or blockchain templates, so that can also be integrated with all these services, right? And once we have all the setup in place, then again we need to have insight being generated, right? So that these insights can be utilized for like further review, for to taking a better decision. So for that we have Amazon QuickSight, SageMaker, Comprehend, Recognition, Amazon Lex, Transcribe, and the Deep Lenses, right? So that's quite intensive in terms of like multiple services we are seeing here. So very complex to understand in one go, right? So the broad and very deep portfolio which we are seeing right now, right? So lake formation, ETL, and data movement. So again, if you move ahead with the data modernization and tooling, right? So in a way, like data life cycle. So what we do at a very first stage. So first of all, we need to discover the data, right? So we have Amazon Glue services, which is basically a crawler. So it goes into the database, and it gets all the schema and all the tables, joins, and every activity, every task related to table joins, everything it does, right? And then in terms of like ingestion, AWS Glue, Kinesis data stream, data firehouse, DMS schema conversion tool, Bestow family, storage gateway, and data syncs. or with the help of all these services, right? So the data will be ingested via all these services into, and then when data is being ingested, then we can store that data into Amazon S3 and its other offering in terms of like Glacier, or if we also can store data in Aurora, RDS, and the DynamoDB, right? And in terms of like security, Amazon, it was IAM and the KMS security. Uh, all the keys can be managed by KMS, and then Amazon Macy for your sensitive data. For auditing and monitoring purpose, we can use Amazon CloudTrail and the CloudWatch. And once your data is stored, right, so we also further need to cataloging of that data. So we have Amazon, it was Glue data catalog service, Amazon EMR Hive Metastore. So as Glue is basically is Hive Metastore, where we are when we have created the metadata, we can store in a Hive, right? And then we have to prepare, we have to go in a preparation layer where AWS Glue ETL serverless service can be utilized, and Amazon EMR, Apache Spark, and Hadoop. All right, so these are two different things, right? The first is EMR, where the server-based clusters are being provisioned, and then there is also a serverless service, which is AWS Glue ETL, right? And then for analyze, we have Amazon EMR, Apache Spark, Hadoop, Amazon Kinesis, Data Analytics, Athena, Redshift, SageMaker, and the AI services. And for visualization, we've got Amazon EMR notebooks and Amazon QuickSight. So in a nutshell, if you look at the data lifecycle, right? So we've got data right from the discovery, ingestion, storage, secure cataloging, and preparing, analyzing, and visualizing. So this is a life cycle of how any company need to perform all the activities in terms of like data discovery till visualization. All right. So modernizing your database and the data warehouse. So basically there are the services which you can use so that you can modernize your database and your data warehousing, right? So since if you look at the left, that commercial to Amazon Aurora, commercial to open source, there are the different services, right, which we can use to convert your data from one form to another, right? So we've got Amazon DMS service, database migration service, that we can leverage if we want to go commercial to the open source, or right, or to commercial to the Amazon Aurora, right? What you can do, whether it is a SAP, PostgreSQL, MariaDB, SQL, MySQL, or SQL Server, we can use the service, AWS service, and we can convert all those into Aurora compatible, right? And we can, migrate from all these databases to the Aurora, right? And the idea is to taking all this data into Amazon S3, then converting into the AWS native databases. And in terms of modernizing your data warehousing using AWS SCT, that is a schema conversion tool. So again, you can go commercial to the Amazon Redshift, right? Again, S3, Amazon S3, that is a storage bucket, so or AWS services, which you can use basically to perform the middle layer, and then your all the commercial databases or maybe commercial data warehousing services can be migrated to the Amazon Redshift. Right. So again, AWS gives you that flexibility and the option to migrate all those data from the open source and the other forms to the AWS. All right. And now we will see the ETL and ELT references architectures. Right. All right, so this is the server-based data lake in ingest pipeline with Amazon EMR batch, right? So this probably you would see this slide and it will just blow your mind that what all the services are being used here. All right, so just to make it simple, on the left you see the on-premises data sources like databases, files, or maybe the different third-party vendors, right? So irrespective of wherever your data is, right, the first and foremost step is to take that data, ingest it, right, to extract, load and transform, that we call uh, the ELT, right? So we are using EMR ingestion cluster. So basically, you can understand, or we can consider it as a ingestion layer of EMR cluster. Then the process layer, and then the enrich layer, and the fourth one you can consider the consumption layer, right? So EMR ingestion cluster is scoop which we are using, right? So from the different data sources we are collecting a data. What are we doing here? For compute, we are using EMR ingestion cluster scoop, right? And we are and this is a distributed compute and distributed storage. For storage, we are using S3 bucket under the hood, right? So that you can scale your storage as well as your compute irrespective to each other. And then AWS transfer for SFTP, right? So that's the first thing, EMR ingestion cluster we are considering, and we are loading that data into the S3 bucket. And the middle layer, you can see the transform, right? So this is where your one sort of databases or schema which you have taken, that is being converted into the different forms, and what that all is being done with this transform period, right? Where the different tables need to join, right? And you are basically collecting all those databases at one platform, and then you are doing all those transformation in terms of schema conversion tool with the help of SCT, and then table joins and whatever else is required in terms of making it any agnostic sort of databases. We are making it very generic data in terms of like usage and licensing, right? So Amazon EMR ingestion cluster is for transformation is being used here, and the processed layer, when the data is now processed, right, and it will now further be sent to the EMR ingestion cluster for like that we call enrich, right? Data is very curated data, right? So we have got with the help of ELT for now. Now the cataloging would be provided or will be performed. Again, the Glue would be doing that, where the Hive meta store is a place where that all the metadata would be stored, right? And from here, and again that all the metadata would be, we will call it the consumption layer, right? Idea here is we can now use a BI tool, right? Which you can, or maybe you can use like quick sites to visualize your data, right? We can also use Tableau or maybe other BI tools to just to have an insight and the better business intelligence out of that data, right? So if you break it down into 4 or 5 part, right, from you see the EMR ingestion cluster, right? First of all, where you are ingesting that data. The second, where that data is ingested, but now it's time to transform it from one form to another. The third one is now the data is being transformed, right? You've got the enriched data, and the fourth, where you are doing the cataloging for that data. All the metadata is being stored to it should be available, it should be queryable, right, for to the users. And then again, fifth, for analytics cluster, if it is required, then we are using Amazon EMR analytics cluster. And then as a your marketing team may be needed, right? You can just have any BI tool just to make a sense out of that data. So that's I think that's now easy for you to understand that how ETL is being working with Amazon EMR with the help of uh, the S3 bucket as a storage layer under the hood, right? All right, so serverless. So above we have seen the server-based data lake ingest pipeline with EMR patch. Now we would see how serverless can be taken care, or can be can be provisioned, right? So the same setup as earlier, on-premises database and different resources. Then you can see again the ingestion layer, transform, and glue cataloging and visualizing. So rather than using the batches in server based, what we are doing here, so here you can see on the left AWS glue ETL job, right? So it's basically open database connections, right? So basically what it is doing, Amazon EMR Elastic Map reduces 100% replaced with a glue ETL job, right? So what is actually a glue ETL, right? So ETL glue ETL is basically a crawler, right? So what is it is being doing? It crawls the databases, right, and it gets all the data required tables, right? Everything related to your databases, right? It takes all those information and it puts into the raw layer, which is and where AWS Glue crawler puts that data into the storage layer, and then again that's where the load processing comes into the play. And when the data is being loaded, then it goes further for the transformation. And AWS Glue is basically doing the transformation job with the help of ETL job, right? You might have done or you have heard that the Glue ETL job we process, right? So again, it's a Glue crawler runs and it processes the databases or the data, whatever we gathered in the raw layer, and when it is transformed, then again it sends that data to the consumption layer, right? So I mean the process is different, but the step, if you just follow, so it is as like as the previous which we have seen. So when the data curated data is available for like querying, right? Again, and the cataloging will be happening, right? And then again you have Athena, so that you can just perform SQL query and just you can just have a look on, or you can just basically see your data, what exactly in there, right? With the help of Athena. And for visualization, again, you can use Amazon QuickSight for your reference, right? Okay, so it also looks similar to the previous two slides, but here what are we doing? From mainframe, the data is being extracted to the Kinesis data firehose, right? And from there it is being loaded, and then ETL cataloging and analyzing is being done, right? So if you look at here on the left, the Kafka, the data is being a real-time data is being streamed, and Kinesis data stream is being used, and then from there you can use an Kinesis data analytics, right? You can perform any analytics layer of, or activity from here for real-time analytics. Then it goes, and whatever the digest value you get, all those you restore here in the DynamoDB, right? And then you can just have a look of your whatever the changes are there, maybe whatever application you are using, you can just see data in the real time, right? So, and again, the process is quite similar. It's just that you got the real-time data streaming with the help of Kinesis data firehose, streaming, and analytics, right? More or less, it is the same. Just just to have. So first, we've seen that EMR, which is server-based, and then we have seen the serverless, which where the server is being 100% replica or 100% changed with the AWS Glue ETL job. And third, we are seeing Kinesis data stream, right? All right, serverless data in just pipeline with AWS Lake Formation. Okay, again, the same setup which we are seeing here. So again, the AWS Glue ETL. So here we are using this for AWS Lake Formation. Lake Formation is again where we are getting all those data into one centralized form, right? So irrespective of any sort of whether any kind of data, now when it comes to Lake Formation, it's it is a distributed storage where all the data is being can be queried by the users, right? For any sort of analytics. Then again, these no ETL service, Amazon Redshift federated query, Amazon Athena federated query, advanced query accelerator for Amazon Redshift. These all the services are in preview, but just to give you a heads up for the services, these things are going to be a game changer. Why? Because you've seen we are querying the data from the data lake where we are, or maybe the Redshift, or maybe the one from one centralized place. But now, when these services would be available for users, so data could be queried right from the Redshift, right? So I mean that's again, so what there is a limited steps would be there, so the data can be queried in a lesser time, right? And queries on RDS, Aurora, PostgreSQL databases, analytics on live data without data movement, unified analytics across data warehouses, data lake and operational databases, flexible, easy way to ingest data, perform. So what are we doing? If you just understand that how EMR solve the problem, right? So there were, if there's any company, so there's a different pipelines are running, different jobs are running, and the number of jobs and the pipeline are running just to create the insight from whatever the data is there in the company. Then it creates the bottlenecks, right? It creates the its timeline lengthen, right? So that if there are multiple pipelines, definitely is going to take a lot of time, and that will delay the decisions which could benefit the business, right? So now if we you can minimize the number of you can say like any jobs, right? Or maybe any pipeline, all right? So if the user is able to query its RDS Aurora, or maybe the data warehouse service, then you can understand how quickly they can generate the insights and take the informed decision. So again, this is in a preview. So whenever it would be for public domain, for public to use, then definitely it would be a game changer for them. Amazon Athena credit query that we have seen, the 10 new resource available today, support for. So again, that is the subject. It is not available for public to use, right? And then again, a recommended pattern for catalog and the bucket organization. All right, so this is basically for availability, accessibility, and security. Like 2-3 points or 2-3 parameters are considered here. So on the bottom, you see, on the middle, you see that shared data engineering, account prod, right? Prod, test, and dev. So there are different environment, and on a left, that line of business one account prod, line of business two account prod, right? So there are, if there are two different businesses and they are having the shared data engineering, or maybe they have there's one centralized platform or one centralized place where they are getting all that data and they are getting insight from there. So this is how it should be separated in terms of like security isolation, right? In terms of line of businesses, and you can see that these are connected, different VPCs are connected with the help of transit gateway. So I mean that is a recommended architecture pattern or the design in terms of segregating or maybe isolating your the environment or your networks in terms of like at the same point where you are having some uh, shared resources or shared data engineering account, right? And again, the centralized meta store, catalog, ingest, and transfer, right? So we can see line of business one on the left and line of business two account prod. At the middle, the metadata is being stored with the help of AWS Glue. That's a high meta store. And again, that can be queried, right, from the both the account, which you can see on the very left and the very right. All right, so I guess I'm on the last slide of today's presentation, right? So I know this is for the very limited scope, but in terms of understanding that how decision making is the reason why we need to understand all these things where the data should be queried, data should be processed or curated so that it can give a better business outputs, right? So, so that's all for today's webinar. right? So now I would just request to scan this QR and submit your feedback, right? So that we can just come up next time with a more fruitful discussion, maybe much more insights in terms of like any service that will help us to improve ourselves. At the same time, if you have any questions for me, then I'm here, so I can just respond to all your queries and doubts. All right, I don't see any questions, so I would request all the attendees just to please scan the QR code and please submit your feedbacks.